We're here at Guildford for the Super League game between the Surrey Stars and the Lancashire Thunder. The teams are warming up in the background and we're looking forward to a really good game of cricket. We were just reminiscing in the car on the way here about the fact that the last time we were at Guildford was actually to watch the Women's County Championship match between Surrey and Lancashire here. What do you remember about that particular match, Sid?
It was a really great game. This was Women's County Cricket Day. I think the weather turned out all right in the end, and we had a cracking close game. It wasn't, it was classic women's cricket game. It wasn't, masses and masses of sixes or anything like that, but it was really tight, and a one-run victory in the end for
Lancashire.
Yeah. And you were saying that you'd actually spoken to Eilish Cranstone about that last week when you spoke to her. What did she have to say about that?
She said it still hurts. I think really Surrey should have won that game. They were chasing 240 odd and they were about 130 for no wicket, and then they had a bit of a collapse, and then I think they needed sort of 12 off the last 4 overs or something, so they should really have done it there, but Emma Lamb came on right at the end, didn't she, and bowled a brilliant spell of bowling that just saved the game for Lancashire really. So it's an interesting one because obviously this is the Super League, so we've got some overseas stars and some England stars who maybe wouldn't have featured in that match, but it does feel like these are the two teams that have got kind of the strongest local colour to their sides in the KSL, and therefore this is a little bit of a rematch in terms of that kind of county feel of the game.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that but the players on both sides will definitely be remembering that. And there'll be, some keenness to get some revenge for that on Surrey's part, and there'll be some keenness on Lancashire's part they'll be saying, we've already done it here once this year, we can do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we've already had the first round of games now completed in the Super League. We couldn't be at any of them in person, but we were following obviously via BBC Radio and Sky TV for one of them. So we've been keeping up to date. Both these teams, they've had slightly mixed fortunes in their start to the Super League, haven't they? So Surrey won their first game, didn't they?
Yeah, Surrey did win their first game, they got off to the good start they were looking for. Sarah Taylor got some runs, and I think we were a little bit surprised to see Sarah Taylor play because she pulled out of those England games at the end of the Women's Ashes. She didn't feel that she was in the right place to play those games, but with perhaps a little less profile to the games in the Super League, she felt able to come out, so she had a good game, and Surrey just generally were man for man a bit better than the Yorkshire Diamonds on that particular day. The Yorkshire Diamonds had a couple of good performances as well, but Surrey, pulled through, and it was comfortable, but not a massively convincing win. Or on the other hand, the Vipers, on the other side of the country, or on the other side of the Pennines, did have a very convincing win against the Lancashire Thunder. The Vipers got off to a fly, lost Susie Bates early, but then Danny White and Tammy Beaumont, suddenly, the Ashes were behind them. They put on loads of runs up top. The Vipers did slow down a little bit, but they had such a great platform. And I think that it's almost from the 10 overs in. Unfortunately, Lancashire Thunder were always going to struggle. Their batting is a little bit lacking in big hitting. I think they need to keep the other side down and not let the other sides, get those big 160, 180 scores, because I think they're going to have trouble to chase them. And they had trouble then. Some people got some runs. Tally McGrath got some runs. 30 off 20 balls, which is a good innings.
Georgie Boyce up the top had a good innings as well.
Yeah, Georgie Boyce, she got 40 odd, I think. That 30 off 20 balls is a good innings if it's one of 8 people in your lineup that can get those kind of runs, but when that means you're the kind of second best performer on the day, unfortunately that's not good enough. And so what Lancashire Thunder probably need to do here today is to make sure they keep Surrey's total down, and then they'll have a chance chasing it.
Yeah, obviously depending on what happens in the toss, partly.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, sure. Interestingly as well that Lancashire Thunder are batting Sophia Dunkley at number 5. There was a lot of talk about the fact that she was moving up north and that therefore she'd have increased opportunities. Possibly slightly disappointing to see her only batting at 5 behind Talia McGrath and people like that. I mean, at Surrey she was batting at 7, I think, so she's a little bit higher up the order, but would it make more sense to have her batting at 3, given that this is partly a competition about developing your homegrown talent?
Yeah, Dunks was here last year, playing for Surrey and batting well down the order. Probably fairly, given the batting that they had in their lineup. but England kind of, as far as we understand, that the England management basically pushed for her to move so that she would get more opportunity. And you're absolutely right. If she's going to bat, down at 6, then that's not giving her the opportunity that everyone was hoping for. And I think she deserves to bat higher up than that as well. So hopefully we will see her batting a little bit higher up today.
Yeah, well, we'll be bringing you all the action from Guildford. Hope it's a really good game.